Hi there, Smart Drivers. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about getting on the highway or freeway or merging onto a multi-lane highway. You can see behind me here, this is the on-ramp section onto Highway 97 North here in the Okanagan Valley, and you can see that it's obstructed by the overpass and the berm here. I had a comment from Avi Rayo, and he asked me to give more clarification because when he was getting onto the freeway, his vision was blocked by trees, fixed objects, and overpasses such as the one behind me here. And so what we're going to do today, we're going to go out on the highway and show you how to merge onto the highway when there are trees and obstructions. And it's important when you're merging onto the highway or freeway, match the speed of the vehicles in front of you on the on-ramp, or look as far down the freeway as you can see to see how fast the traffic flow is. But it's important that when the on-ramp transitions to the acceleration lane, that you put your signal on and communicate to other road users, because getting onto a freeway is somewhat of a team event, and as long as you put your signal on and communicate to other traffic that you wish to merge onto the freeway, they're going to help you out. So today we're going to give you a bit more information about that. Stick around, we'll be right back. Hi there, Smart Driver. Welcome back. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about how to get on a limited access highway, interstate, or freeway. They're pretty much all the same, with obstructions that prevent you from seeing the roadway when you're getting out onto the freeway. Had a comment from Avi Rayo. He was having some difficulties with obstructions that were blocking his view. And here you can see that this vehicle in front of us is not accelerating to the highway speed, so we're just staying back from that traffic. And oftentimes that's what you're going to have to do. And you want to have your signal on all the way out onto the freeway from the time that you get onto the acceleration lane, because if you ask other drivers nicely, i.e. your signal, your turn signal, they will move over to the left-hand lane, or they will slow to create a gap for you, because oftentimes when you're coming out in the acceleration lane, you're accelerating, and if they simply just let off the throttle a little bit, oftentimes that will be enough to create a gap for you to move into. So when you get on the acceleration lane, you want to either do the posted speed limit or the flow of traffic, whichever is less. And as I said, it is important that you communicate well with other traffic, because if you communicate with other drivers and ask them via your turn signal, they will often either slow enough to create a gap for you to move out onto the freeway, or they will move over to the left-hand lane. For those of you in Australia and the UK, they will move over to the right-hand lane for you. And remember what I always say about turn signals. Turn signals are to indicate to other traffic that you wish to move over. It is a request to move over, not that you are moving over. All too often in social driving, you'll see people, they're already moving laterally, and then they put their turn signal on just as kind of a courtesy. They put one flash on. It doesn't help you. You need at least 3 flashes on a turn signal for other drivers to, the first signal gets their attention, the second signal allows them to locate you, and the third signal on a turn signal allows them to take some sort of action. So you need at least 3 flashes on a signal before other traffic will help you out. And if you ask nicely and give them enough time, most of the time other drivers are going to help you out. They're not going to be aggressive and try and force you off the road and that sort of thing. So blind, on ramps, get the vehicle up to the posted speed limit or the traffic flow, whichever is less. And if you can't see the traffic, look as far down as you can, because at some point the on-ramp is going to transition to the acceleration lane. And when you get out onto the acceleration lane, you at that point will be able to determine what the traffic speed is at that point. So look forward, look as far down the road you can, and determine the speed of the flow of traffic or the posted speed limit, whichever is less. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to get off the freeway or off the highway. This is a limited access highway, it's not a freeway. There's a deceleration lane and then the off ramp. Now when you get off on the deceleration lane, do not slow down on the highway until you get off onto the deceleration lane, unless the traffic is backed up on the deceleration lane, which is not very often. But wait until you get into the deceleration lane before slowing, because slow down on the highway or freeway, you are creating an unpredictable action, and potentially other drivers won't know what you're doing and could potentially cause a crash or a near conflict, which could result in a crash. So stay on the freeway. As you can see in the speedo camera here, get off the freeway until you get fully into the deceleration lane. Do not start slowing down. And you saw that the truck in front of me did exactly the same thing. Didn't start slowing down until he or she got completely into the deceleration lane, and then once he or she got into the deceleration lane, it slowed down. You can see that they're starting to slow down here. I know on some interstates in the US that the deceleration lanes and the acceleration lanes are quite short, so you're going to have to watch that as well. The other move forward until we can see. The other note of caution on interstates, off ramps and on ramps, the deceleration lane and the acceleration lane can sometimes be the same, one and the same, as you can see in the image here, and those can be pretty dangerous. They're beginning to eliminate those. Those are rare now because they were deemed not safe, and they're definitely not safe, and there's a reason why. So just note of caution on those. Now again, we're going out onto the freeway here, the highway. The on-ramp just went to the acceleration lane, and we accelerate to the posted speed limit. I've got my signal on. Now I'm checking traffic, and I'm just concentrating on getting my speed up, and I'm doing the posted speed limit of 90 kilometers an hour, 55 miles an hour. I stay onto the end of the ramp and I move over, and the traffic behind me didn't have to adjust because I got my speed up to highway speed before I moved out onto the highway. Now, just going back to what I was saying there previously, the acceleration lane and the deceleration lane being one and the same, it's kind of a U. So one end of it exits and the other end is the on-ramp onto the highway. So just take note of those. Those are kind of dangerous. As well, as you can see here in the dash cam on the right, continuity lines. If continuity lines are on your left, the lane that you're in is either going to end or it's going to exit. And continuity lines are half as long and twice as wide as normal lane dividing markings. So take note of the continuity lines. And again, if you're in a lane that has continuity lines on the driver's side, the lane that you're in is either going to exit or it's going to end. And in the case of a on-ramp, it's going to end and you're going to have to merge over onto the highway. Quick review of entering and exiting a freeway. It's important that you get up to speed when you're entering a freeway and know when the on-ramp transitions to the acceleration lane. And often in North America we know that because the yellow lines transition to white lines and now you're on the acceleration lane. If you have traffic in front of you, you're going to have to match the speed of the traffic in front of you. But if there isn't traffic in front of you, try to get up to the posted speed limit on the acceleration lane and look for your gap. As soon as you get on the acceleration lane, put your signal on, because as I tell students all the time, signals are to tell other traffic that you wish to move over, not that you are moving over. And if you communicate to other traffic, it becomes a bit of a team event, and the other traffic on the freeway will help you move out onto the freeway, either by slowing down and making a gap for you, or they'll move over to the other lane and allow you to merge out onto the freeway. So it's important that you communicate. Same thing when you get off the freeway, do not reduce your speed until you get into the deceleration lane, because if you slow down out on the freeway, you are now an impediment to other traffic and could potentially cause a crash. So make sure that you don't slow down until you get into the deceleration lane. When you're on the deceleration lane and go to the off ramp, again, which transitions from white lines to yellow lines, pay attention to all of the signs there, the cautionary signs, especially if you're not familiar with that roadway, so you know to slow down and whatever the speed is, because there could be sharp curves and whatnots on the off ramps, or you could be coming up to a stop sign as you saw in the video there. Question for my smart drivers: do you have any tips for new drivers learning how to merge onto the freeway or getting off the freeway? Leave a comment down in the comment section there. All of that helps out the new drivers learning how to drive after they get their license. I'm Rick with Smart Drive Test. Thanks very much for watching. If you like what you see here, share, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section there. As well, hit that thumbs up button. Check out all the videos here on the channel if you're working towards your license or starting a career as a truck or bus driver. Lots of great information here. As well, head over to my website. Lots of great information over there as well. and stick around to the end of the video, links to other videos and the link to my website. Thanks again for watching. Good luck on your road test, and remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now. Question for my smart drivers. What is a question for my smart drivers?